So this video is intended for the students in my Fitness for Life 3 class. It's going to be a quick demonstration of SHARP, which stands for Sexual Harassment and Rape Prevention Self-Defense Techniques. There will be a few new moves that we didn't cover in previous self-defense classes. And then at the end there will be a review of some of the self-defense techniques and tactics that you have already learned with me. So today I am going to have my husband participate in the demonstration with me. And the first move is a hip check. In this type of scenario you would use a hip check when your harasser is blocking an entryway or perhaps a hallway. They're preventing you from exiting, and it's the only exit that you have. This is a passive aggressive type of situation. You have already looked in the environment. The harasser does not have any weapons. You do not have any weapons or tools on you, and you are going to start with your verbals. So the first move, or I guess verbal move that you would want to make, is ask in an assertive voice for the harasser to move away from your exit. So it would be very assertive. You would say, move. If they're refusing to move and you feel that they are mocking you in a passive-aggressive way, then perhaps you can use the hip check as a self-defense to get to your exit. So I'm going to ask my demonstrator here to fold the arms. Okay. Now normally you'd have your reactionary gap, your 6 feet reactionary gap, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go into the hip check. So in this, I'm right-handed, so in this particular move, I'm going to use my thumb to press on the hip bone area so that it causes a reflex action to the harasser. And I'm going to use my left palm to gently push on the shoulder area to get them to move. Alright, so it looks like this. I'm coming forward. I'm going to use my right thumb to press on the hip bone area, left palm to the chest or shoulder area, move, and then I walk by. So that is the hip check. When you are applying the thumb, you want to apply with enough pressure at a 45-degree angle, pressing in a downward position on the hip bone area. And again, it should create that reflex that it's a distraction technique for them to move. The second set of self-defense measures is a harassment situation where the harasser has their arm around your shoulder. So I'm going to ask to put your arm around my shoulder. Okay. Alright, so this is a finger lock position. I'm going to apply a finger lock as a self-defense move. The first one that I'm going to do is with the hand that is closest to your harasser. This allows for my left hand to be up in a defense position. Okay, so for the finger locks, you want to grab the ring finger area and the middle finger. So I'm going to grab the middle finger and the ring finger area. I'm going to invert them upward to create enough pressure for pain compliance. And then I'm going to, as I apply the pressure, go under the arm and backwards enough that I'm still applying the pressure here. So you want to get away from the harasser and use that finger lock position. The second finger lock, I'm going to get the harasser to put their arm around my shoulder, is you can use your opposite hand. If you feel that you're left-handed, or if you feel that this is easier, what you can do is again grab the ring finger and the middle finger. You're still inverting upward, and then you want to get away from the harasser. So I'm going to just simply move out and apply pressure on the finger lock position. The next move is wrist release, and there are two different methods for it. So in this case, and just get you to face me, okay? In this case, the harasser has grabbed my wrist. It's still a passive, aggressive move. I'm going to try to get out of the wrist lock. So I'm going to ask just to grab my arm. So in this case, he has grabbed my arm or my wrist area with his palm down. And the weakest point to get out of this position is to release the arm between his thumb and finger area. So when the palm is down, the best move for this is for me to slightly lift my arm up, turn his wrist slightly, okay, and then I'm going to pull my arm back towards my shoulder area. And just, of course, being careful not to hit yourself in the face. So again, grabs the wrist, okay, I'm going to come up slightly, turn his wrist. I'm making my own fist here for some impact to make sure I have that pressure to pull out, and I'm pulling towards me. The second one with the wrist lock is if he has grabbed my hand underneath, okay, so I know his palm is down. So again, I want to apply the most pressure between his thumb here and his finger area, so that I can get control of my arm. So for this one, it's a very simple move. It's very quick. All I'm going to do is lift my arm up. I'm going to slam it down and say, give me my arm back. Okay? So again, palm is down, and I am going to just slightly lift the arm up and then give enough strength down to release the arm. The last of the moves in Sharp are very similar. Well, they are similar to what we've learned in class, and you can use them depending on the position that you're in and the scenario that you're in. So the first one is if the assailant decides to grab the arm with both hands. Okay? So this has now turned from a passive aggressive to an aggressive move. Okay? So there are some distraction techniques that you can do before you get out of this wrist lock position. You can do a front kick to the shin area. By doing that, you'll probably create enough of a pain compliance that you'll have a looser grip on the arm that you can then pull out of it. Okay. Another one, of course, is the side front angle kick. So I'm making sure that I have my leg back, going to apply the kick to the outer thigh area, and again that should loosen up the grip of the assailant enough that I can pull my arm out of it. The last ones are your hand strikes, just a review of those. Perhaps in this scenario I've applied the finger lock position, I've let go of the hand, and the assailant has decided to get into a fist fight with me. And I'm just going to actually move my demonstrator here because he is left-handed. Okay. So just as a review, the assailant decides to throw a punch. You're going to use your inside guard to grab onto that arm, and then you can go into any of the hand strikes that you are comfortable with, okay, including your brachial stun. You could use a backhand brachial stun, or inside of the arm, the inside of the forearm here, for a brachial stun to the neck area. Okay. If, of course, those distraction techniques do not work, you can go into the brachial stun, the blade of the hand, and then a knee strike to get the assailant away from the person and get into a safer situation. So So that concludes our demonstration of SHARP. I thank you for your attention.